suicide. Sometimes people get to the point that they done took so much. They done took so much in till they just get to that place where they just say, you know what, I quit. I can't do it no more. And that's when the suicide rate begins to get higher. But when you're dealing with the church, when you're getting at that place and you're dealing with the church, that's when the church begins to crumble. Because nobody wants to try anymore. They're like, why? If I come, why should I come to church to be talked down to or looked upon, or be the topic of every sermon because somebody been running their mouth? Or they be like, okay, I'm out here hurting. Why should I come in that church and hurt more? Because the church have gotten away from doing what God has called them to do. Now we at first we was talking about how that when the body is out of order and it goes straight up towards the head at an angle, it can pierce something and do more damage, even to the point of killing. And then we was discussing about how that now is at that angle, it can be to a point that it pierces through that skin. So that problem could be, because it hadn't been dealt with yet, to the point that it begins to come out into the open. And that's when all the church begins to see the little stuff that we've been trying to hide for so long. So they begin to see it. They're dealing with the open fracture. And then the community fracture is when it done pierced through the skin and you be like, you know what, this hurts so daggone bad, forget it. I quit, I'm done. I ain't gonna even try to heal this. Just let it be like it is. I'm just gonna have this flicted arm. And I'm just using this for example. I'm just gonna have this flicted arm. I ain't even try to heal this. What good is it gonna do? It ain't gonna never grow back properly. It's too much damage to it. That's how some people in the church begin to feel. There's so much damage in the church that why even try to heal it? Why even try to keep praying for healing in the church? Why even keep trying to go out there and bring lost souls into the church? Because the church is doing more harm than the streets. That's how some people think. And in John 14, 1 and 3, which is what we read at the beginning, it said, let not your heart be troubled. If you believe in God, believe in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go. Jesus telling us he go to prepare a place for us. That means those that are believers. Those that are in the body of Jesus Christ. So he's saying, hey, I want you to be healed. But it's a process. It's a process that you have to go through. But I want you to be healed. And he said, where I go, you can't go right now. But the time gonna come where you can go. But you got to be healed first. But the time gonna come. So he done already prepared a way out for you. But you got to go through the process. Okay, the next one is a stable fracture. A stable fracture is when the bones simply break. The broken ends of the bone lines up. Because it just broke right there. In other words, you can kind of put it like this and put it back together. Now, just because it was like this and you put it back together, it still got to heal, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be back like it was. So how do you get it to stay like this? Can anybody tell me?
Well, yeah, they usually put a cast over it.
They put a cast over it so that it becomes where you can't use it for a time period, right? Until it properly heals. Now, what happened when you're dealing with the church, sometimes when they in that place of healing, that cast is on them, sometimes they take that cast off too soon. and that bone ain't healed yet. Well, sometimes they just don't put the cast on at all. Now, 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and I will forgive their sins and will heal their land. So if my people, so God is saying, if you turn from all that mess that you was doing that was causing harm in the church, that was causing harm in your life, if you turn from that, if you turn from that, I will do the healing. So God is saying, I will be that cast that needs to go on there to immobilize it to where it won't fall back out of place. God does the healing. But we want it to be instant. We want him to do it right now. But you got to go through a season of being broken. Because, in other words, how can you see your mistakes if God come and immediately heal it?
Okay.
So if you can't see your mistake, what's going to happen?
You'll never learn.
You'll never learn, and more 9 times out of 10, you're going to make that same mistake again.
Over and over and over.
And you're going to keep doing it until you start to see this is a mistake. Until you see fire is hot, you're going to keep getting burned. So you have to let that bone properly heal. And it takes time for that bone to properly heal. It's not going to happen overnight. The church ain't going to get in proper order overnight. But it can happen if you let God put a cast on it.
If you let go and let God.
Exactly. Now, on your second page, you have what is called a malunion. Malunion. A malunion, I may not be saying that right, but I should be pretty close. Malunion. Malunion.
That's right.
Is when a fractured bone doesn't heal properly. Because, like, again, sometimes we take that cast off too soon, or we start doing things we ain't got no business doing, and so that bone ain't had an opportunity to heal properly. Some ways that it shows is by having the bone being twisted shorter or bent. That means it's grown out of place. Malunion can occur by having the bones improperly aligned when immobilized, or having the cast taken off too early, or never seeking the medical treatment after the break. Remember I was saying, sometimes we can take that cast off and it ain't time. Sometimes we can think the church is back to where it's supposed to be and they ain't there yet. Okay. Spiritually, this occurs when you don't take the proper step to heal. You just try to continue to cover it up for the appearance sake. In other words, the church ain't healed, but you just want people to think that the church is healed because it's back to business as usual. And there's still some people in that church that's broken. When you're in a season of brokenness, you should not come out of that season until everybody that is broken has been healed. Not just the head, not just certain people in the body, the big tithers, not just them, everybody, even down to, as we was talking about this morning in our Christian life development, even the Popeyes. Don't just wait on all the blue toes to get healed. Get them Popeyes healed too. Because some of your greatest soldiers in this fight, in this war that we're dealing with, some of your greatest soldiers are them little Popeyes, not them big blue toes. Okay. Revelation 2:4 and 5 says, Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love. Remember therefore from whence thou art fallen, and repent, and do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and will remove thy candlestick out of his place, except thou repent. So in other words, whatever your mistake you done made, and it could just be that you lost yourself for a moment. Whatever the case may be, do the work to get properly healed. Otherwise, how can God continue to use you if you ain't did what you need to do to properly be healed? You still walking around here as a malunion, and you think, oh, I'm back healed again. I ain't broken no more. Yes, you are.